Quebec's public sector workers' strike has expanded considerably since it started on Friday. About 80,000 nurses and other healthcare workers joined the job action today. They belong to the province's biggest nurses' union. It's a 4-day walkout and the nurses' third strike this year. It brings to more than 500,000 the number of striking public sector workers in Quebec. The nursing union says the provincial government has pushed them to this point. And the CBC's Alison Northcott is following this story for us. She joins us live from the picket lines in Montreal. So, Alison, what are you hearing?
Well, I'm outside one of the major hospitals here in Montreal where the nurses have added their voices to hundreds of thousands of other public sector workers who are on strike this week in Quebec. The nurses, as you said, there are 80,000 nurses. This is their third strike action. They're on strike for the next 4 days. And they say there are several sticking points in their negotiations with the government. That includes their salaries, the way their work is organized, the staffing levels, and the government's insistence around a certain kind of flexibility around where and when the nurses work. So they submitted their updated counter offer to the government on Friday. It includes salary increases of 20% over the next 4 years. Now, along with the nurses outside on this picket line, there are also other healthcare workers. They're part of the Common Front, another group of unions who are also on strike this week until Thursday, and that includes other healthcare workers at this hospital. Have a listen to what one of those healthcare workers had to say earlier today.
The further we wait, the further it's going to be hurtful for everybody. No one's benefiting anything out of this, but we are all suffering. So it's to end the suffering, I guess, just come to an agreement that makes sense and logic, and it's fair for everyone, and we can get back to our lives and continue with our job.
Now, Quebec's Treasury Board president says when it comes to the negotiations with the nurses union, one of the things that is essential is that idea of flexibility on the part of the nurses. That's something that they're looking for. Now, for the workers, they say that this action will have an impact on patient care across the province, but they say it will not have an impact on emergency services or critical care for patients.
And Alison, nurses are the latest group to take to the picket lines, but there are hundreds of thousands of other workers on strike as well. Tell us about that.
Yeah, there are several other unions on strike. One of the main teachers' unions has been on strike, on an unlimited strike. They have been on strike now for 13 days. So that means that there are thousands of students across the province who have been off of school for the past 3 weeks because of different strike actions. And there are also other unions joining that strike action this week as well. So that includes more teachers, and that means that there are hundreds of thousands of Quebec students who are not in school this week. That is a temporary strike action, but there is that unlimited strike action by some teachers as well. In terms of those negotiations, the teachers say that they have made what they see as major concessions in the negotiations, but that they need the government to make a real effort to come to an agreement as well. Have a listen.
We are confident because we will make it to be able to negotiate 24/7, and we're not there to be doing a strike. We're doing everything to reach an agreement. Our teachers want to go in class, but they don't want to go back at the same way it was before they've been on strike on the last 3 weeks.
Now, with so many different unions on strike, there are a lot of negotiations to watch, but there's also a lot of frustration because so far there have been no agreements to bring these strikes to an end.